So good day everyone, my name is Annabelle Legria. So for today's video, I am going to discuss it's all about humanistic and discipline. So what is humanistic? Originally, the term humanity implied the distinguishing between human beings and those considered to be less than human, whether that means dogs, goldfish, or the literal less than humans, known as the barbarians and slaves. But with the dawning of what we now refer to as the Middle Ages, an interest in the divine arose, and man began looking at what was greater than himself. And with his recollection came the understanding that if some humans were considered subhuman, then what must humans appear as to God? And thus a new definition of humanitas began infiltrating the vernacular, one that implied our certain mortality rather than superiority over one another. This new definition and conception led to what we now call humanism, which Panofsky describes as maintaining our rationality and freedom while still keeping in mind our own fallibility and frailty, thus responsibility for ourselves and tolerance to others. With the rise of humanism in the Middle Ages, it is no wonder that new artistic styles emerged everywhere and played off one another versus the soon-to-come Renaissance, which radically shifts to looking at the past as something to be reconstructed. The humanists learned and grew from what they could study of the past but didn't emulate it. As Panofsky says so beautifully, for if human existence can be thought as one as means rather than an end, how much less could the records of human activity be considered as value in themselves? Renaissance and humanism. The word Renaissance literally means rebirth. Between the 14th and 16th centuries, Europe experienced a rebirth of Greco-Roman culture, which had died out centuries before. Historians call this time period of rebirth, then Renaissance. This Renaissance included a renewed interest of Greco-Roman texts as kindly love of learning, an increased interest in understanding the natural world, and the philosophy of humanism. Humanism is an optimistic outlook emphasizing the goodness of success, the goodness and success of humanity. Before the Renaissance, Christian Europeans often viewed humanity as sinful creatures who needed to be constantly mindful of their souls. During this new period of rebirth, however, there was much more emphasis on the goodness of God's creation and the talents and skills God had granted humanity. So how would you define the art? For many people, art is a specific thing. A painting, a sculpture, a photograph, a dance or poem, or a play. It is all these things and more. They are mediums of artistic expressions. Webster New Collegiate Dictionary defined art as the conscious use of skill and creative imagination, especially in the production of aesthetic objects. Yet art is much more than a medium, or words on a page. It is an expression of our experience. Art is uniquely human and tied directly to culture. It takes the ordinary, makes it extraordinary. It asks questions about who we are, what we value, the meaning of beauty and the human condition. As an expressive medium, it allows us to experience sublime joy, deep sorrow, confusion, and clarity. It tests our strengths, vulnerabilities, and resolve. It gives voice to ideas and feelings, connects us to the past, reflects the present, and anticipates the future. Along these lines, art history combined with anthropology and literature are three main sources of in observing, recording, and interpreting our human past. Visual art is a rich and complex subject whose definition is in flux as the culture and around it changes. Because of this, how we define art is in essence a question of agreement. In this respect, we can look again to the dictionary's definition for an understanding of exactly what to look for when to proclaim something as art. So these are the frameworks of perspectives. First is the field of learning, which is the two main fields of learning are the sciences and the humanities. The humanities actually complement the science and vice versa. It is only that the exactness of science is a mastery and the depth of the humanities is wisdom. Let's not focus on the science, but we're gonna focus on the humanities because this is our lesson. So under the humanities is the language, history, art, and philosophy. Under the art is the art creation artist practice and the art appreciation spectator theory. Our frail and fallible human bodies leave behind frail and fallible records. Our frail and fallible lives ugly turning our inescapable mortality into kind immortality for subsequent mortals to humanistically or scientifically observe. And so, the duality we face regarding the definition of humanity still remains. So for another knowledge, the two general fields of learning are the science and the humanities, which are the science deals with natural, physical phenomena, while the humanities deals with human phenomena. So there are some thinkers whose thoughts were the basis of methods in the humanities. I mean. So the first thinkers is the Socrates from 469 to 399 BC, which his quote is Know thyself. Know thyself was carved into stone at the entrance of Apollo's temple at Delphi in Greece. According to legend, scholars, philosophers, and civilization have debated this question for a long time. Why we have not been able to find the answer. The next one in the wisdom is the Augustine 354-430 AD, which is saying, withdraw into yourself that dwells in the inner man. For various reasons, cultural, political, economic, and ideological, that the norm of self-knowledge has come and gone with that tide through Western history. So the third one is Thales of Miletus. He's saying is a scientist tends to know everything about the world that he forgets to know anything about himself. So I truly agree about his saying. This philosopher renowned as one of the legendary seven wise men or sophists or antiquity. He is remembered primarily for his cosmology based on water as the essence of all matter, with Earth as a flat disk floating on a vast sea. And the fourth thinker is Confucius from 555 to 479 BC. A wise man once said, "If you can revive the ancient and use it to understand the modern, then you are worthy to be a teacher." Confucius was born a couple of centuries before Socrates, teachings on ethics and logic, and half a millennium before the start of our modern calendar and birth of Jesus of Nazareth. He established a school with the explicit purpose of educating the next generation for political leadership.
Good day everyone. My topic in this video is all about the humanities in Western civilization. So what is the humanities in Western civilization? The humanities in Western civilization refer to the academic disciplines that explore and study the various aspects of human culture, thoughts, and expression. These disciplines encompass a wide range of subjects including the history, literature, philosophy, art, music, and languages. The humanities aim to defend our understanding of human experiences, values, and creativity throughout the history. Panofsky said, art as a humanistic discipline. Humanities, in Latin word humanitas, in English word humanity, classified in three states, divinitas, humanitas, and barbaritas. In divinitas, God in the state of perfection in heaven. So, God perfection or powerful of God. In humanitas, people in the state of culture and civilized society. So, we as a human. And barbaritas, savage in a stage of nature for survival. So, define food to eat and survive. The place of the humanities in the history of Western civilization. Ancient 800 BC. The view of cosmocentric view. A vision of reality that places the highest importance or emphasis in the universe or nature, which strongly focuses on humankind as the most important element of existing. Protagoras said man is the measure of all things. So each human has different measure. Geocentrism said man is the center of the universe. The next is medieval, 300 AD. The view of theocentric means God is a belief that the Christian God is the central aspect to our existing. In this view, meaning and value of action done to a people or the environment are attributed to God. Scholasticism said, man is created in the image of God. Man is the center of the creation. The next is Renaissance, 1400 AD. The view of anthropocentric is the worldview that consider human to be the most important thing in the universe or at least on the earth planet. Humanism said nothing more than wonderful than man. The next is modern, 1600. Scientific technocentric view is a value system that is centered of technology and its ability to control and protect the environment. Man is a part of nature. The last is postmodern. The view of eclecticism is a conceptual approach that does not hold rig- rigidly to a single paradigm or set of assumptions, but instead draw upon the multiple theories, style, or ideas to gain complementary insight into a subject or apply different theories or particular cases. Man is a piece of everything. So I have an example of each. The first one is the ancient. So this is an example. The next is medieval. This is the example also. The next is Renaissance. The next is modern. I think the evolution of man, Charles Darwin, whole study of this. The next is postmodern. Humanistic disciplines. History. Human events happen in the world. Language. Written or oral form of human communication. Philosophy. Human reasoning concerning reality. Art. Admiration or art appreciation of human-made object and the human creativity or art creation by which mean these objects are made. The next is etymology. The word art in Latin word ars, but in English word is art. Skillful or production or performance. So they have two types of arts. The first one is liberal arts. They belong of artists and art. Civil art belong the artisan or craft. Major art. The example is architecture and sculpture. And minor art, craft is stone cutter, carpenter. Western concept art. Academic. Only school people are artists. So if you are a student in time of Western civilization, you are an artist. Elites means for the higher social class. Hierarchical, liberal arts, and civil art, high and low art, major art and minor art, or craft. Fine art or practical art, folk art, indigenous art, and popular art. Western classification of arts. Major art, made by artists and primarily concerned with the form of beauty. Minor art or craft, made by artisan and concerned with the functionality and usefulness of human-made object or artifacts. The seven major arts in Western civilization. Visual, like painting, sculpture, architecture. Performing, music, dance, and drama. Linguistic, literature. Minor art or craft. Ceramic, weaving, sewing, handicraft, carpentry, masonry, stone cutting, gardening, and cooking. So that's all the humanities in Western civilization. Thank you.
Hi, I am Madavia Alegria. So, this lesson is all about the humanities and the Filipino personhood with the pagkatao. The word humanities is derived from the Renaissance Latin expression studia humanitatis, or study of humanitas, or a classical Latin word meaning, in addition to humanity, culture, refinement, education, and specifically an educating befitting a cultivated man. Sa Filipino, ang katumbas nito ay ang pagkatao o pagiging tao. To be a human is to show or to have qualities or qualifies like rationality, kindness, and tenderness. Kaya kung hindi mo taglay ang mga katangiang ito, ligwak ang pagkatao mo. According to Filipino anthropologist Prospero Covar, the Filipino personhood has a biological and a cultural aspect. The biological aspect is our katauhan, while the cultural aspect is our pagkatao. If you are born as a human being and say and do things that human beings do, our katauhan becomes our personality or pagkatao. Becoming a human being entails a process. The result of that process is our personhood or our pagkatao. As the Philippine saying goes, madaling maging tao, mahirap magpakatao. Or in English, it is easy to be a person, but it is hard to become a human being. Therefore, pagpapakatao is a process by which one becomes a human being. Filipino personhood. How does a human being become a Filipino? The Manunggol Char and the Filipino personhood. According to Mr. Kovar, the Manunggol Char and the Filipino personhood has things in common. Firstly, both came from clay and brown in color. Remember the story of Kabunian? Secondly, both imply a journey of a process to complete. Two men in a bangka suggest a journey to the afterlife. Kovar also described pagpapakatao as a process. Lastly, both have concepts of labas, loob, and lalim which will be explained below. So Kovar's concept of personality or the pagkatao applies to both Manunggol Char and Filipino personhood. According to his article, the Char and the Filipino have characteristic traits following the concepts of labas or the external or the physical characteristics, loob or the internal, and lalim is the spiritual. So as what we see the diagram here, which had the buddhi and kaluluwa, dibdib, puso, sikmura, atay, tiyan, bituka, mukha, isipan. Ang konektado naman sa buddhi ay ang lalim, sa atay naman ay ang loob, sa labas naman ay ang dibdib. So let's explain this furthermore. Labas ng pagkatao ay the katawan or the physical appearance of the person. It is the kulay ng balat, ilong, tindig at dibdib. In English is the color of our skin, our nose, our height, and our chest. Loob ng pagkatao ay the kalooban or the intellectual, emotional, and the moral, which is the isip, our thoughts or thinking, or which is matalino, which is smart, intelligent, ugali and asa, which is mabuti or which is our attitude. Lalim ng pagkatao, kaluluwa or spiritual, which is the anito or nibbana. Non-dualistic relationship of terms, the labas and the loob. In non-dualistic relationship of terms, in labas, here is malapad ang noo, salubong ang kilay, malakit ang tingin, maduming bibig. In internal, which is the matalino, matapang or galit, umiimik, masamang magsalita. In lalim, which is the malinis ang kaluluwa. In loob is matuwid ang buddhi. In non-dualistic relationship in Filipino psychology, labas, hipo, loob, dama, labas, pikil, loob, timpi. Labas, dinig, loob, ulinig. Labas, tawa, loob, tuwa. Labas, saya. Sa loob naman ay ligaya. Labas, sarap. Sa loob naman ay ginhawa. Lastly, the Filipino concept of humanities. I repeat that pagpapakatao is the process of how a human being become a Filipino. In the study of humanities as pagpapakatao, students should discover and realize their own identity as a Filipino.
Good day, ma'am. I am Nico Anoos, and my topic is the Filipino concept of art. The Filipino concept of art is deeply rooted in its rich cultural history and traditions, blending indigenous, colonial, and contemporary influences. It is an expression of both personal creativity and community identity, often reflecting the values, experience, and struggles of the Filipino people. Example: pre-colonial influence. Early Filipino art such as pottery, weaving, tattooing, and sculpture was highly functional and deeply connected to daily life, spirituality, and nature. This art was often symbolic, representing beliefs in the spirit world, ancestors, and nature. And during pre-colonial era, tattoos were badges of honor, wealth, beauty, and bravery. For pre-colonial men, they would get beaking, which is a chest tattoo with patterns that crawled up the shoulders and down the arms. Men who receive this tattoo are seen and headhunting warriors. And baking and tattooing refers to the process of blending or shading using a steepling technique. Most of the Filipino will say tattoo is not an art. Tattoo is for an addict people, but they didn't know that tattoo is a traditional culture of our beloved Filipino. And in conclusion, the Filipino concept of art is a traditional talent to us because you can express your feelings and emotions through art. That's all, ma'am, and thank you.